Hey, how's it going, bro? Appreciate you taking some time out here today. How's things going?
Life is good, man. Yeah, just back in the mix. I'm happy. Things happen fast. I was literally on my honeymoon, and I got that text message, and left the next day. Got right to the gym, got to work, and yeah, we're about like what 4 weeks out right now.
Yeah. How many weeks have you had already planning for this fight?
So they called me like right at the. I think it was a little over 6 weeks. A little over 6 weeks. Called me up, and I'll be honest. I was training pretty consistently, all summer, just kind of staying ready for anything that, potentially pop up. And then I got married, went on a honeymoon. I hadn't really been in the gym for probably at least a week. I'm trying to think. I think I trained the day before and the day of my wedding, but and then I took the week off for the honeymoon and was just running and just I have to work out. I'll go crazy, but yeah, I mean it was like a whirlwind of things. I went from like a wedding, literally a week later, I'm signing a fight and getting back after it. But I'm thankful. I like the matchup. I like when the fight is. I mean, dude, I've been doing this a long time. I know the drill. I know what I got to do. Mainly get my diet in check. Always the biggest concern I think for me. I cut a lot of weight to make 135 pounds. So first thing I did was went and got on the scale. I knew I was in pretty good shape already, but I went and got on the scale, and I'm like, yeah, we can do this. It's gonna be rough, but we're gonna do it.
Well, congrats on the wedding and
Thanks, man.
and everything there. I know you really wanted to get back in there after some unfortunate, things that happened in your last two fights. You lost to Taylor Lapilus and a very close kind of decision to Andrade. I could have gone either way. I think a lot of people thought you won that fight, me personally as well. Um, but what have you taken away from those two losses coming into a very big matchup against Da'Mon Blackshear?
I feel like yeah, I can't really look back at the Douglas D. Andrade fight and be like, yeah, I lost that fight. Like in my head, I don't feel like I lost. I don't like mentally. I can't look back and say, obviously I think I could have done more early in the fight, but I really wanted to figure out his timing, and once I got it figured out, I put him down. If I made one mistake in that fight, it's I had an opportunity to finish him, and I messed up. That's the reality. And so I made a bad decision in the cage, and it cost me. And then against Lapilus, I just could not find my rhythm in there. I'm not sure what was going on. I was getting impatient and forcing exchanges when it really wasn't there, and that's really not how I fight. He fought really, really well. I stuck to a really good game plan, and I just did not. I did not fight well. Like I got out of the cage and I was just like, what did I just do? Because I was in the gym and leading up to that fight. I mean, I was hitting on all cylinders. I was the best I've been. Really, I felt amazing. The wrestling was there. I was taking people down at will. I really thought I was gonna run that kid over, and I was flat the night of the fight, and that's the tough part of this game is like everything in my preparation was perfect. I was in great shape. My weight was great. Everything was perfect, and I went out and dropped the ball. Like there's no other way for me to like really come out and say it. I'm better than that as an athlete, and as a competitor, I'm better than that. And I did not do the things I needed to do to win. And fighting these Lapis is kind of an anomaly. The way he fights is strange. Like I've never really fought a southpaw that was a counter striker the way he is, and his minimal movement. He did less but did more, and hats off to him because you know there was uh, there was no way in my mind that kid could beat me, and I went out and it happened. Going into the Blackshear fight, I don't really know that I have like a specific game plan or anything. I don't know. I know that I have to win. I'm in a situation I know I have to win, and my nuts are a half inch away from a bandsaw. So uh, I feel like in those situations, I'm betting myself every time. You know, you put me in a tough situation like that, like I'll fight my way out of it. I'm not sure how I'm going to beat him, how the fight's going to play out, but I know that at the end of the night, I'll get my hand raised.
Yeah, I mean, this is a completely different matchup than, say, like you said, someone like Lapilus. This is with Blackshear, he kind of brings kind of the same sort of skill set that you have. He's going to come forward, he's going to put the pace, and he's going to want to wrestle, grapple, and throw some hands. You're not going to have to chase him. He's someone
No,
that's going to, bite down his mouthpiece and want to fight with you. And
yeah.
that kind of fight coming in, do you kind of expect the same?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're gonna run into each other. You know, we're gonna run into each other a lot in this fight. Uh, like mentally, if there's anything I'm preparing for, it's war. You know what I mean? I feel like a fight like this against somebody, with his stature, tall, long dude that's gonna grapple. Like eventually, we're fighting in a small cage at the apex. We're gonna be on top of each other a lot. You know what I mean? So the exchanges and stuff are gonna happen fast, 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 and it's just gonna be who can get the better of those exchanges in that small cage. And like where he shines, I feel like I'm better. I think I'm a better wrestler than he is. And in terms of like kickboxing, it's not like he's not going to be able to run away from me in a cage that small. There's not a whole lot. There's really nowhere to go inside that cage. Like, so for me, when I heard who it was, well, at first I didn't know who it was. It was just, could you fight on November 9th? And I said yes. And then it wasn't until like I got my contract that I found out who I was fighting. And I know Blackshear, like he trained at Extreme Couture. He trained in Las Vegas for a while, so like I know him. I know him. Like I think I've trained with him a few times. I don't really remember, which isn't really saying much about him. But I mean, I went and watched his fights. He's tough, man. He's tough kid. I like the way he fights for my style, because like I said, he's gonna come forward. Like those are the kind of guys I like fighting. I'm a counter puncher. I think I can find those big shots against Blackshear. I think he's going to make a mistake. I think he's going to get a little over anxious, and if I don't put him out, I'm definitely going to hurt him.
Are you happy that this fight is in your backyard? You don't really have to travel. It's like down the block for the most part. I know you're in Vegas. I don't know how far you are from the Apex, but are you happy that it's there rather than having to travel across the country?
Yeah, I could walk there. Like it's pretty close to my house. Like it's it's a 5 minute drive. Yeah, I mean I'm happy. Obviously, there's a different feeling you get when you go on like these trips. You know what I mean? Like it's a business trip. Like kind of what there's like it's a mental thing. But I don't care, dude. I've fought. I don't even think about that kind of stuff anymore. Like I've been in the UFC 7 years, almost 8 years. So like at this point, like it's just like, all right, where are we going? Who are we fighting? Let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to overthink it, and I feel like that's kind of been like a if there's mistakes I've made in the cage, it's just like it's it's thinking about the fight too much, you know what I mean, instead of just fighting. And like my whole focus this time is just like, okay, like I'm gonna get myself in the best shape I possibly can. I'm gonna get the looks that I need. I'm bringing people in from all over the place to give me the looks that I think Da'Mon Blackshear is gonna give me, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna get in there and scrap. Like I'm not I'm not I'm not really going too deep into it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna formulate a huge game plan. I'm gonna go in there and him and I are gonna figure it out with our hands and our feet, and we're gonna hurt each other. We're gonna hurt each other every single way we know how.
Are you're letting your coaches kind of take care of the tape and take care of kind of getting you ready where you should be getting ready for this fight, and you're just going in and putting in the work and letting things happen as it happens?
Yeah. I mean, all my coaches watch film. They have a pretty good idea of what they want me to do, and in terms of like combinations and stuff that we both think are gonna work. But yeah, it's not even so much that is it's like the mentality, going into a fight like this. Like I know that my back is against the wall. I know that I need to do something spectacular. You know what I mean? To secure I have a job. You know, the Monday after the fight. Uh, so like for me, my coach is going to tell me to run all these combinations and do all these things, and I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to be physically prepared, in the gym. But mentally, I'm just getting myself to those dark places that I know I'm going to have to go in the cage November 9th, because, he's tough, and I know that. And, the kid's not just going to go away. It's going to be grimy. It's going to be nasty, unless I can hit him with something big early and put him out. It's a possibility, but, I'm preparing for 15 minutes, and 15 minutes of just straight warfare. I want the fans and I want everyone to realize that, I am still absolutely one of the best bantamweights on the planet. And, I want guys to like see my name and say no, and be like, no, somebody else, give me somebody else. Like, that's the reputation that I want to have in the UFC. I want to be the guy that nobody wants to fight. And I want it to be because, like, when you get in there with me, like, I'm going to hurt you every way I can.
Yeah, I mean, this is not really the first time your back was kind of against the wall. You were on a little bit of a skid earlier, but like it seems like when your back is against the wall, that's kind of when you shine. Is it kind of brings out the best in you and best of your abilities. And do you think now that you kind of have are in that similar situation, do you think that's going to bring the best out of you in this matchup?
Like I said, if the chips are down and nothing's going my way, like, that's when I will literally bet my house on myself, because I don't know what it is, and I don't know why, but it's almost like the fight camps that I can think that are like perfect, and they're, like, everything, I'm hitting on all cylinders and everything's going exactly the way I would hope it would. It's almost like I'm having my worst performances, and I cannot, like, it's almost like I need complete chaos. I need everything to be falling apart. I need to be, working around injuries. I need to be, in just like these dire straits. But for some reason, like, when, things like that happen, to me, my focus and my intensity level just changes. And, like, I'm seeing that, in the gym, out of the gym, like, I'm having a hard time right now, honestly, like turning the switch on and off. Like, it's just I'm just kind of on all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just itching. I'm itching to get in there and just let shit go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger, and coming into this fight, you said you were bringing in a ton of different people, and who are some of those guys that you've been bringing in to really kind of mimic the tall, lanky grappler that Da'Mon Blackshear is?
Yeah, I mean, I have one guy bringing in from Ohio. That's like, a stud wrestler, kind of exact same body type. But a lot of my training partners, like, they're all kind of that size. I train with mostly 145 pounders, extreme couture. They're all bigger guys. Patchy Mix is a guy that I train with a lot that kind of has the exact same body type. Kai Kamaka, Danny Gay, he's fighting a couple weeks before me. I've been, him and I spar a couple times a week. So, like, I know that like, I'm used to fighting those bigger guys, those bigger, longer guys. Like, that's kind of like the norm for me. I don't really spar with many guys that are my size. So, like, in terms of I'm bringing one person in, but really, like, all my sparring partners, guys that I'm in camp for, when they're preparing for fights, like, they're kind of all about that size. And, it's just about getting those specific looks, like, things that he does. I would say that he does really, really well. Getting those specific looks in the gym, having the right reactions, in those moments in the cage, because, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, if you're gonna, to win at this level, you have to make the right decision at the right time. You know what I mean? You have to, like, you have a guy that has, like, an insanely good jab or an insanely good low kick. Like, if you're not getting low kicked and jabbed nonstop in your fight camp, like, you're not going to be prepared for that in the cage. You know what I mean? I think Da'Mon Blackshear has a really good left kick, good jab. He has a good level change. Um, and he comes forward. So, those are the things that I'm looking for. Like, I need training partners to give me those looks, so that way, in a live situation, I can mess it up 100 times, but then, later on in camp, over the next few weeks, I can get to a point where like if you throw a left kick at me, like I kill you. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for, like in preparation for this fight. Uh, just having the reactions, and when it's time to go, like I'm throwing everything I've got at this kid.
Yeah, man. And so when it comes in the matchup, how do you expect it to go? Could you give us a prediction? I don't know if you were one of those people that will like to give predictions, but how do you see it playing out?
I mean, I know that him and I are both kind of in the same situation, so um, it's a fight to the death. Like I know that he's not going away. I'm not going away. You know, one of us is going to leave their soul in that cage, and I don't think it's going to be me. I think that my experience in the UFC and my experience against high level opponents and in this situation is going to put me, exactly where I need to be. And at the end of the day, I really think it's gonna be close, and it's really gonna come down to who wants it more. I think that when push comes to shove, and I got to bite down on the mouth guard, and he's got to bite down on the mouth guard, I think I'm gonna put him to sleep. In late in the fight, I think when we get in those dark moments, towards the end of the fight, I think that I'm gonna have that extra push, to land those bigger shots, and I don't really want anything but a knockout. I'm not looking for a close decision. I don't want any. I don't want the judges. I don't want anyone else involved. You know what I mean? Like there's too much at stake for me to have a decision win. I need to put this kid to sleep. So it's a knockout or nothing for me.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And before I let you go, I wanted to know if there's any message you have for your fight fans out there coming, looking forward to your fight coming up.
I'm pissed off and ready to get into a fist fight. And that is about the end of the statement. That's it. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, and I really want and need a win right now. So I'm gonna do just that.